Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulunding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gash, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gash Group also provides the best security company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash.
Hello, it's a warm welcome to our studio here in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with Momodu Bailabari. In the headlines tonight, several ambassadors present letters of credence to President Barrow. TRRC witness denies ever taken part in alleged torturers. Fajekunda Health Center holds annual award ceremony. Ministry of Youth and Sport signs MOU with Cuban ambassador. On the international scene, Myanmar protests continue after violent crackdown. In China, strict COVID tests for imported frozen food packaging. Nigeria rice farmers cook face court over unpaid loans. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. Four ambassadors designated to the Gambia from Guinea-Conakry, India, the Netherlands and Venezuela have on Tuesday presented their letters of credence to His Excellency President Adama Barrow at State House in Banjul as they extended their areas of cooperation with the Gambia. Maria Madem reports.
In strengthening the existing bilateral relations between the Gambia and their countries, 4 ambassadors designated to the Gambia presented their letters of credence to His Excellency President Adama Barrow. Her Excellency Mrs. Aminata Kobele Keita, ambassador from Guinea-Conakry, led the presentation, followed by Ambassador Mrs. Joan J.J. Wegman from the Netherlands. While speaking to journalists, Ambassador Wegman says the Netherlands will continue the cooperation with the Gambia on strengthening human rights, rule of law, and promote the rights of women, young people, and vulnerable groups. She further stated that the two countries greatly value justice and the fight against impunity, not only within their respective countries but also on an international level. And the Netherlands has pledged support to the Gambia in the case it has brought before the UN's International Court of Justice in The Hague regarding the crime of genocides. Both ambassadors designated from India and Venezuela presented their letters to the president, thus highlighting the areas they look forward to strengthening with the Gambia as they reflected on the long bilateral relations between the Gambia and their various countries.
Before speaking about the ways forward in the future, to underline that our relationship has the highest level of support, including at the level of the President. Our President has been to your country in the year 2019, the first ever state visit from India to the Gambia. Your President has been nice enough to write a letter what Gandhi means to him to celebrate the 150th birth anniversary of India, Mahatma Gandhi. So both these things indicate that we do have a lot of political support to the relationship. Your Defense Minister has been to India last year as a part of the first ever India-Africa Defense Ministers meet. I hope that in times to come our defense relationship will also be further enhanced, and I had just proposed and was received as a positive proposal that our naval warship visits Banjul as a goodwill visit across the globe next time. Capacity building, as you rightly pointed out, is one of the main areas of collaboration between us. Development partnership projects for the benefit of the people or others. One example being in the month of November, your President had inaugurated that electricity expansion in the Greater Banjul area, bringing electricity to the people. These are the kind of projects which really make us very, very happy to be part of, to be a partner of the Gambia. In the area of people-to-people relationship, we have a very good 2,000 strong Indian community members here who receive a great support from the government of the Gambia, and they're practically present in every area. And the other areas which we look forward to be promoting in the times to come will be traditional medicines, use of the virtual platform to bring the two countries, India and the Gambia, as close as possible, so that we do the homework much ahead using virtual platform to then meet in an informed fashion whenever we meet, whether in the exhibition or on the visits fashion, once COVID-19 abates.
2006, during the summit of African head of state here in Banjul, our former President Chavez, may his holders rest in peace, came to Banjul and he promoted many links of cooperation. As a result of that visit, Venezuela and Gambia signed a memorandum of understanding. A mixed commission was developed, and from that point on, the relation increased a lot. We create a program that allow the financing of the low voltage network of electricity here in Banjul. We promote the potential graduation of physicians, Gambian physicians, that already obtained their titles as a doctor. The same of them in different careers like engineering, like in tourism, but also again in medicine. And that was and is a reality that is already enjoying the Gambian people. Even some of those students are already going to different countries to do a specialization. Venezuela is open to that too. Venezuela also signed it in that moment an agreement to create a very good link of planning and development of the potential of oil industry and energy industry with Gambia. So the basic legal instrument already had been signed, and that had been the approach of Venezuela, that we will continue working on it in agreement with the government, with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and all the ministers that are concerned with this area. For us it's very important.
All the ambassadors assert their full commitments in strengthening the cooperation between the Gambia and their various countries. This is to promote peace, mutual development, and cooperation among the said countries. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Maria Madem.
Fode Barry, who has been adversely mentioned for his involvement in the alleged tortures of many Gambians and violations of their rights, testified before the TRRC on Tuesday and denied all the allegations. He claimed that he had never been involved in the torture of any individual, even though he was incriminated to be a brutal torturer by some witnesses. Our reporter Yamunda Koka tells us more about the hearing.
Fode Barry, after giving a brief biography of himself and the various ranks he held within the Gambia Police Force, said he has been working at the National Intelligence Agency since 1995, where he was fortunate to have done many courses and also held many positions in the agency. According to him, he was dismissed from the agency in 2003, but he was reinstated in 2006. Barry, who was head of investigations at the agency, said he never came across Bachsama Jallo in his life. On the contrary, when Jallo testified before the commission, he alleged that he was badly tortured by Fode Barry and colleagues. Barry also denied Salima Drame's testimony, saying he never worked with him in any occasion, as he claimed Salima was his junior. On the issue of the Farafenya attack in the case of Balo Kante and Co., the witness denied being the lead investigator in the case or part of the panel that questioned him as alleged by Kante. Barry vehemently denied overstripping Balo Kante naked and torturing him in the presence of his father. On the alleged cutting of Balo Kante's nipple by Baba Dindin Jobate, this was what the witness had to say. Fode Barry said he does not regret any of the things he did because to him he did nothing wrong. For Star TV News, I am Yamunda Kuka.
Earlier today, the Fajikunda Major Health Center held its annual presentation of data and staff award ceremony at the health center. Yamuna Koka again.
The data presentation and award ceremony is an annual event that is set aside by the health officials of the center to recognize the good performance and commitment of the staff in the health center and also lay out the difficulties and challenges they face at the health center. The event was graced by prominent individuals who included the Regional Director of Health Services Region 1, representative of the Director of Health Services, Councillor for Fajikunda Ward, and many others. Speaking at the gathering, Alaji Sankare, the Regional Health Director, congratulated awardees for attaining their best performance in their areas of specialization. As an institution, he added that they are honored to have such staff that maintain the good name of the facility by promoting patients' health, staff relationships, and remain to be their faithful ambassadors. He further urged the staff to remain competitive and challenging in their quest to provide impressive workforce performance in ensuring public confidence in their healthcare delivery system.
I urge staff to remain competitive and challenging in their quest to provide an impressive workforce performance in ensuring public confidence in our healthcare delivery system. I hereby take this opportunity to thank individuals, organizations that have made this day successful by donating prizes. We are happy that you have joined us in celebrating this day to see our best performing staff in the year 2020.
Mr. Sankare furthered that the things to remember is the need to increase their responsiveness to meet the changing demographic, social, economic, and epidemiological needs, as well as meet the local demands of the public. Among the achievements presented by the Fajikunda Health Center include the renovation and addition of laboratory staff for service delivery, availability of oxygen machine, availability of air conditioning at the labor ward and OPD by one of the philanthropists, and many others. The challenges lamented by the health workers were inadequate equipment in conducting more tests for laboratory services, lack of functioning operation theatre, inadequate space and privacy at the OPD, inadequate functioning family planning service, and many others. Dr. Momodu Nyasi, the representative of the Director of Health Services, also described the event vital as he buttressed on the importance of data in health facilities. He said that data helps in ensuring availability and access to clients' records. It also helps researchers in determining disease prevalence and predictions. It helps policymakers in designing the right policies, thus ensuring a vibrant yet resilient health system. One of the beneficiaries, our Dabo, expressed her gratitude to the facility for certifying and recognizing her hard work in the facility. For Star TV News, I am Yamuno Kuga.
Honorable Bakari Y. Baji, Minister of Youth and Sports, and His Excellency Sir Ruben G. Abelenda, the Ambassador of the Republic of Cuba in the Gambia, on Tuesday signed an agreement of sport cooperation between the National Institute of Sports, Physical Education and Recreation of the Republic of Cuba and the Ministry at a ceremony held at the Cuban Embassy in Bijilo. Dado Cham has more.
As part of the cooperation agreement, the parties will contribute to raising the level of sports in their countries through the development of activities such as organization of programs related to sports, athlete training programs, sport facilities and equipment support, academic exchange, sport medicine and sport administration, anti-doping control support with anti-doping tests through the laboratory credentials accredited by the World Anti-Doping Agency for the Institution of Sports Medicine of Havana, information technology that applies to sports sponsorship. In his remark, His Excellency Robbie G. Abilienda, Ambassador of Republic of Cuba in the Gambia, stated that Cuba stands ready to help Gambia in any way they could, particularly with regards to the youth and sports development. Introduced to the minister, the new ambassador of Venezuela to Senegal and Gambia, who witnessed the ceremony, the Venezuela ambassador said his country has very good causes, especially for young people, and assured that they can mediate a link to the Gambia. Honorable Bakari Y. Baji told the ambassador that his ministry attached great importance to this signing ceremony. He noted the excellent, friendly relationship between the Republic of Cuba and the Republic of the Gambia, which he described as a long-lasting, saying, "Our role, therefore, is to strengthen the already existing relationship for the mutual interest of both countries," he added. Minister Baji emphasized that there should be more South-South cooperation as we are all developing countries with similar situation. He said Cuba has been very supportive to the Gambia for a very long time, especially in areas of medicine and medical personnel and youth and sports. Education. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Dado Cham.
Those were the local stories. We'll be back with the international news after the short break.
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulanding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gosh, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gosh Group also provides the best security company company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding. Gash.
And now news beyond our borders. Protesters in Myanmar returned to the streets of a fifth consecutive day and a day after rallies were violently broken up by security forces. They are calling for their elected leaders to be freed and the military government to step down after last week's military coup. The army cited election fraud as the reason for their takeover. For more on the protests, Al Jazeera Scott reports from Bangkok.
A day after a violent crackdown by security forces, people are again protesting against the coup on the streets of Myanmar. In Yangon, some took to bicycles to show their support for the growing civil disobedience movement. Some gathered at the Japanese embassy to elevate their plight to the international community. A message wall was also set up for people to leave their comments and thoughts about the coup last week. And in Mandalay, they came out on motorbikes and on foot. Earlier in the week here, protesters were injured by water cannon blasts and dozens were arrested. More groups and unions have joined the growing movement, including civil servants in the capital Naypyidaw. They're all calling for the return to democracy and the release of their elected leaders, including Aung San Suu Kyi. Students and young people are emerging as critical players in the protests. Many see their future at stake, and with so much on the line, they're willing to put themselves in harm's way.
Students are going to struggle under the military dictatorship. That's why we're here on the street, giving our life to get our democracy back.
She's not alone. This young protester is taking part in a poster campaign supporting the civil disobedience movement.
When I'm here with all these people, I'm not scared. I have no fear at all.
The UN representative in Myanmar has called the security services' use of force against the protesters disproportionate and unacceptable. The United States said it's reviewing assistance to Myanmar, again called on the junta to step down.
We repeat our calls for the military to relinquish power, restore democratically elected government, release those detained, and lift all telecommunication restrictions.
So while the younger generations in Myanmar are taking bold and risky steps to get involved with the protests by insisting on access to social media, they're putting their own twist on it. Scott Heidler, Al Jazeera.
Mandatory testing of frozen food imports in China is being blamed for a backlog of container ships in the region. Chinese authorities say contaminated packaging is spreading the coronavirus, but health authorities say the claims are baseless and it is costing suppliers millions of dollars of damage. Al Jazeera's Sarah reports from Hong Kong.
This is a mandatory process in China. All frozen seafood imports must be tested for the coronavirus after it was found on food packaging in June last year. But the regulations are causing congestion at ports and hundreds of container ships are held up.
In the North China, I think somehow it's more of a problem in North China, less so in Shanghai, Ningbo and the south. Quite a lot of the cargoes was diverted to Korean ports. Some of the cargoes heading to the North China, they have no choice, then they diverted to Shanghai.
An outbreak in the northeastern city of Dalian last month was linked to frozen food imports. Dock workers who handle the goods tested positive for COVID-19. Authorities blamed food packaging, but the World Health Organization has questioned the link.
The reason that some of those food handlers got infected is probably that they did not practice any social distancing measures. The direct transmission of the virus from the contaminated food to human beings, that should be very rare.
Either way, the restrictions are causing long delays and a shortage of imported food supplies into China.
The most immediate impact will be a sudden imbalance of the flow of the food supply, into and outside of China. China is still a country that is very, very, very hungry for protein. And China, despite all the natural resources, is a huge importer of great seafood from around the world.
The demand was quite high for the frozen foods like cherries from Australia, cherries from Chile, and also the frozen meats from Brazil.
Here in Hong Kong, the government has followed China's lead and has now extended testing to include frozen food items. It's now testing a wider variety of food items from around 30 countries. The city's health chief says the risk of infection from touching the surface of frozen packaging is minimal, and so far no cases have been recorded. The shortage of port space and risk of long delays has prompted some companies to cancel shipments to China, but Chinese authorities are showing no sign they'll ease up on the regulations. Sarah Clark, Al Jazeera, Hong Kong.
Officials in Nigeria say they are planning to take thousands of farmers to court for failing to repay loans they took out to cultivate rice. More than 1 million farmers were given cash tools to boost local production and help reduce food imports, but thousands of farmers say they will not repay the loans, raising concerns the scheme may collapse. Al Jazeera's Ahmed Idris reports from Arungu.
Abdullahi Megandu watches closely as farm hands prepare new paddy fields for a new crop. A few meters away, other workers tend to new shoots. Megandu is one of Nigeria's major rice producers, with hundreds of hectares of land dedicated to growing rice. He says serious farmers like him are benefiting from a government loan scheme to boost domestic production, but says the scheme faces risks.
The real farmers are paying, which means there is success. Now, I have no apology to mention. There are certain category of people, you give them, they don't do the farming, and then they will be a challenge to you. They will say, it is a gift given to us.
Isa Wanzam leads a 34-member farmers cooperative and says they weren't told they would have to pay anything back.
If it was made clear to us that it's a loan, we'd have known how to approach it. We didn't apply for it. So I can tell you that we won't pay back a dime. Not all of it was money. We consider it as gifts or assistance. After all, we see politicians take public funds with no accountability.
The so-called Anchor Borrower scheme encourages farmers with small holdings to produce a variety of commodities and to connect producers with processors. But 5 years after the program was introduced, Nigeria still imports foods the scheme was meant to produce in excess.
Since 2015, an estimated $600 million has been provided to more than 1 million farmers to boost rice production. Critics of the process say it's corrupt and lacks transparency. They accuse government officials and politicians of hijacking a scheme that could now collapse because of a failure to pay back the loans.
An estimated 40% of those who have received money have either failed or refused to fully repay. Some officials say that's often understandable.
Though very slow, but one can understand that for one reason or the other, some payments sometimes can be slow. Especially the last time we had flood. So you can imagine our farmers lost a whole lot.
Africa's most populous nation has 34 million hectares of arable land, but only 33% is under production. This country of more than 200 million people imports much of what it eats. Agricultural experts say that's because farming technology is out of date, and if the government doesn't encourage mechanization, nothing will change. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Argungu.
And before we end the news, a recap of our main headlines. Several ambassadors present letters of credence to President Barrow. TRRC witness denies ever taking part in alleged torturers. Fajekunda Health Center holds annual award ceremony. Ministry of Youth and Sport signs MOU with Cuban ambassador. On the international scene, Myanmar protests continue after violent crackdown. In China, strict COVID tests for imported frozen food packaging. Nigeria rise farmers cook face caught over unpaid loans. That's all for this edition of the news. Do join us tomorrow for more news. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs. Thank you for watching.